Hi there, welcome to the continuing math saga of solving multi-step equations. There's about 3 or 4 videos that were doing relatively simple ones. Now we're going to get to more complicated ones. I'm calling these level 2. And I think there's 4 parts in the level 2, and kind of as you go, they're getting a little bit harder and harder, but also different. So it's important. I would suggest you do all these questions, unless you're really good, in which case, like, skip to the last video or the last couple of videos. If you get those right, then these will be no problem. I want to start by reviewing the steps. So first thing you want to do is simplify each side of the equation as much as possible, and you're going to use BEDMAS to do that. Make sure you do that first. It'll save you so much time and grief. The last few videos you haven't had to do that, but these ones I'm going to step it up and make them a little more challenging. Then you're going to use this part is SAMDEB. The opposite of that, so use addition and subtraction to move your variables to one side and the numbers or constants to the other, and then use multiplication or division to get the variable alone and positive. So let's get started. I took the time before I started to highlight all the variables. I always do that. It just makes it simpler for me to concentrate. So we've got 0.4x plus 9.2 is 10. So there's my x. That's what I want to get by itself. And I need to move this 9.2. So this is plus 9.2. I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to use the inverse. So I'm going to subtract 9.2. And whatever I do to one side of the equation, I need to do to the other. And the reason it works again is because plus 9.2 and minus 9.2, that cancels out to 0. So then we have 0.4x is equal to 10 minus 9.2, and that should give me 0.8. Now it's a one-step equation to get the x by itself, so this 0.04 times 4, that's right, it's multiplication, so we're going to divide each side by 0.4. Oops, don't need that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the answer is 3.2, but I'm going to use my handy dandy calculator. So 0.8 divided by 0.4, and that's what happens when you use your brain. Sometimes it doesn't work. So the answer is 2. Notice when I did it, you don't have to put the 0 points when you use your calculator. Over the course of the year, that might save you a minute or two. Right. So next one, 144 is equal to minus 12 times x plus 5 minus 1. So there's clearly nothing to do on this side because there's only number. This side I'm going to simplify. So using BEDMAS, I want to check my brackets first, but I can't put those together because they're not like terms. If you don't know what that means, search through these videos. You're going to find something on polynomials, and it'll talk about like terms probably in the first or second video. Can't put them together. There's no exponents. There's no division, so multiplication. So we're going to use the distributive property, and we're going to multiply through. So 144 is equal to minus 12x. And we need to distribute it through the entire bracket. So we have to remember it's going to be times the plus 5. Minus 12 times positive 5. It's minus 60 minus 1. So in doing that step, I got rid of my brackets. There's still nothing to do here. So I can bring the 144 down. Minus, well, this is my only 12. Sorry, my only x. And then minus 60 minus 1. So it's going to give me minus 61. So I can't put these together because they're not like terms. So now it's time, I am done step 1. Now I want to move all my variables to one side and my numbers to the other. So my variable's already here, so I want to move this 61 over here with the other number. So plus 61 minus 12x. Now 144 plus 61 should be about 205. Oh, I made a mistake. That should be negative. I got 2 equal signs. Oh, that's awful. 205 is equal to minus 12x. I would really rather be doing this in pencil, but it doesn't show up very good on the screen. So Can have a few mistakes like that. So now all my numbers are on one side, all my variables are on the other. I just need to divide by minus 12, minus 12. So minus 12 divided by minus 12, that cancels out to 1. And I'm going to get x is equal to 205 divided by 12. 17 and 1/12. Okay. 17.08, and it should be negative. That makes me think I made a typo or something's wrong, because I use, usually these end up being whole numbers. So let's do a check. Anytime I'm not sure about my answer, I'm going to do a check, make sure we're okay. So 144 minus, equals minus 12, x plus 5 minus 1. 144 is equal to minus 12. Now we substitute negative 17.08 plus 5 minus 1. 144 is equal to minus 12. Now 17.08 subtract 5 is negative 12.08 minus 1. We have 144 is equal to 144.96 minus 1. 144 is equal to 143.96. This is an unintended awesome question. My check didn't work, but it did. See, because when I did this part, I'm just going to bring my calculator back over here. When I go 205 divided by, you put the minus in for you, 12. See, it's 7.083333 repeating. By just carrying 17.08, I've lost this little bit of extra value here. So when I do my check, it's going to be off by a little bit. If I had added some 3s in there and put some 3s in there, it would have worked out closer if I had actually used it as, 12, 17 and 1/12, using a fraction, it would have been exactly the same on both sides. So even though it's slightly off, I'm going to consider it close enough because of the rounding. I'm going to write rounding underneath. It's good. If you get like 144 equals 15, then it's not a rounding error. Then there's something wrong with the question. All right, let's get out the next question. Next one looks easier. 0.24x plus 16.4 is negative 1.48. So I want to move the 16.4 over, so minus 16.4 minus 16.4, 0.24x is equal to negative 1.48 minus 16.4 minus 17.88. And I'm going to divide by 0.24 on both sides to isolate the x. Negative 74.5. Cool. All right, this next one, sorry, I kind of ran out of room on this, is a lovely fraction question. And here's one where I was going to cross multiply, but I guess I don't have to. So I need to get rid of this 16 on the bottom. So remember, this division line, this fraction line, basically says solve the top, solve the bottom, and then put them together. Well, I'm going to multiply by, no, I'm not. I lied. I'm going to cross multiply. It's just so much easier for me. Okay, so I'm going to take my negative 1 and put a 1 on the bottom. And now we're going to cross multiply. I always do this with fractions. So it's 1 times n plus 5 is equal to minus 16 times minus 1. That is the entire point of cross multiplying, is to get rid of the fraction. So 1 times n plus 5 is going to be n plus 5. Negative 16 times negative 1 is going to give me 16. So minus 5 here, minus 5 here, n is equal to 11. And there we go. I think that is much easier than anything else. I'll be honest, than anything else. If you know from another instructor or another video that you've watched, you do it a different way where you just multiply both sides through 16, completely fine. I just like to cross multiply. And I'll do it again here. Okay, so to do that, you put the, if there's a single number on this side, you just make it into a fraction by putting a 1 on the bottom. And then we're going to cross multiply. So negative 3 times 8 is equal to 1 times b plus 9. Now, I realize in this question, I wrote this part first. In this question, I wrote this part first. I don't know why. It's not important. Whichever one comes first, it's an equality, so it's all good. So negative 3 times 8 is negative 24. And 1 times b plus 9 is just going to be b plus 9 minus 9 minus 9. So b is equal to negative 33. Just for fun, because I got a little bit of room here. Let's do a check. So b plus 9 over minus 3 is equal to 8. So minus 33 plus 9 over minus 3 equal to 8. Minus 33 plus 9 is going to be minus 24 over minus 3 is equal to 8. 24 divided by minus 24 divided by minus 3 is 8. So we're golden. Ta-da! Always check. If it makes you uncomfortable, check it. If it doesn't work, then, you know, watch the video again, see what you did wrong, or go talk to your instructor. I'm hoping at this point that you've tried these before you watch the video, or at least watch me do a few of them and then finish them yourself. Okay, next one. Oh, this one's got brackets. So we're gonna have to simplify first. There's nothing to do on the left-hand side here. We got 10 times k minus 9, but the k and the negative 9 aren't like terms, so I can't put them together. So there's no, the bracket part of this, nope. There's no exponents, there's no division, so multiplication, we're gonna use that distributive property to distribute that through. So minus 10 is equal to 10 times k, which is 10k. And then we're gonna distribute through the brackets, so we gotta do both. So negative 10 times minus 9 is minus 90. So I wanna get the k's by myself, so I'm gonna add 90 here, add 90 there, and 10k is equal to 80. And we're back. Sorry about that. So we did our distributive property, and we got minus 10, sorry, is equal to 10k minus 90. We're going to move the 90 over, so 80 is 10k, divide by 10, divide by 10, k is equal to 8. Oh, let's make your teacher happy. Forgot about that. When in doubt, circle your answers. It makes life much easier for those of us who are marking, 20 or 30 papers. Sorry, just a little bit of a rant there. All right, almost done. 2. So we're going to use a distributive property, 2n through there, plus 10 is equal to minus 2. I'm going to move my 10 over. So 2n is minus 12, divide by 2, divide by 2, n is equal to minus 6. And, oh, this one looks different. Okay, notice, well, okay, there's nothing to do on this side, But on this side, there's a variable here, sorry, a constant or number, and one there. We need to put those together. Don't start moving them one at a time. It's just going to mess you up. That's why the very first step is always use BEDMAS to simplify each side. So this is really 1 plus 5 is going to be 6 minus 2n. If it made you happy and you wanted to put the minus 2n first, that's fine. So now I need to simplify. So I need to move this 6 over to that side, minus 6, minus 6. So 0 is equal to minus 2n, divide by minus 2, divide by minus 2, n is equal to 0. That feels a little bit weird. So let's try a check on that. Move over. So 6 is equal to 1 minus 2n plus 5. Now I'm going to put my 0 in. 6 is equal to 1 minus 2 times 0 plus 5. Here's a point where it's really a good idea to put that number that you substitute in brackets, because otherwise that's going to look a lot like 20. And we get 6 is equal to 1, negative 2 times 0 minus 0 plus 5. 6 is equal to 6. So yeah, it all worked. Couple of resources at the bottom. You know what, if you want to practice, you just Google it. You can find probably thousands of videos and lots of worksheets. The only way to get good at this is to practice. Practice until you're bored. Practice until you can do it in your sleep. Or practice until you can teach someone else how to do it. That's a win-win situation. All right, that's it for now.